Good evening guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm making snippet clusters today. I have an order, so I thought I could do those and also do some for myself. I made the collaged paper last night, but it was so boring, so I thought I don't record that. You have seen people put paper on paper so many times, so you don't need to see that one more time. So I'm here tonight instead. Clusters is always nice to see, and if you're new to my channel, this is my snippet clusters that I make, and I'm doing kind of maybe 10 layers on them, and at the end I put a little label and a rusty needle on them, and they seems to be quite popular, so that's quite nice. I have had a lot of orders the last week, so this is so fun that you like my stuff. I did another fun, can show you. I tried to do some metal labels for my journals with some copper plate, and did some decoration with the melted metal. I'm going to put some paper in these with some statements or maybe journal, and then put resin over it, so this will be fun. They are a bit rustic. So that's another project that I have been working on today. So for those of you that isn't aware how I do this, I'm starting with an ordinary white paper, and then I'm putting on these crinkly paper that make a nice sound on the clusters. And then I have cheesecloth, old book paper, thin lace, a bit of textile, and now it's time for the lace that are a bit heavier, kind of crocheted or like this. So I call this thin lace and this heavy lace. So most of the laces I used are old and antique. A few ones are new, but mostly I go with kind of these that have been on old Seng linen from 1800. I like the feeling that it gives, the history about the lace or around the lace, where it has been, where who has used the pillow or the curtain that it has been on. That's kind of questions I think about when I do my clusters. I'm kind of a, should we call it, a bit crazy lady, but I believe in soulful things that makes my heart sing. Okay, I always sew my clusters, so I'm not so neat when I put on my stuff. But I'm trying to layer them so I always can see every layer I have put down when it's done. So I'm not covering everything. I can see the paper, I can see the paper number 2, the cheesecloth, the textile, the book paper, the thin lace and the thick lace. And that way I think it gives it a special feeling when I put all these layers on top of each other. I didn't have any request for any special color or something on this order, so I'm going for the white. That is what I mostly use, and then I put a little bit of textile, colored textile on them. I use different kind of whites, from this really white to off-white and almost beige. I put on everyone already, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. Let's do double on that one. And then I did these long ones for myself to use. So these will get some textile. It's a little bit harder to try to see all the layers when they are so thin. But I'm trying, and put them on different parts, and you don't need full length on them. Can put part of it this way and then put another thing on the other part. I think this even is so, the glue is so wet, so I can use it for this one too. Put a little bit extra in case. So one more textile piece. Also, let's take this one that is so thin. So I hope you have had a nice week. It's Friday again tomorrow. I think the weeks is just going so fast. It's almost October again. I'm just putting a bit of extra lace on these long ones with these beautiful dots on them. Okay. How many layers do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's go with some roses. I have been sleeping a little bit better this night, so I hope that it might turn. I really need some deep sleep now. You kind of lose your mojo a bit when you feel that you haven't any strength to do something. And that's not me, even if I struggle with my ache from fibromyalgia. I'm almost always in a good mood. So this isn't as usual to feel a bit low and without energy and mojo. It kind of surprised me. But I'm sure it soon will be okay again, so we shouldn't talk about those boring things. Let's talk about something nice instead. So, new projects. I have a couple of small journals going on, and I also have 2 different digital kit makers that have asked me if I want to do a design team for them. So that will be exciting. I have done one earlier. I struggle a bit when I get orders to do things in a special way, but I have challenged myself to at least try. So I hope I can get this done, even if it's kits that I haven't kind of chosen. Most of you know by now that I'm not a red and yellowish girl. I really struggle with those colors and don't like to work with them. My creativity kind of dies when I try to work with yellow and red. One time I bought beautiful textile and did sew curtains from it, and it was this big roses in different reddish colors, and I really was in love with that textile. So happily I put these curtains on the windows, and they were in the window for 15 minutes. Then I tore them down and threw them in a box. They were laying in that box for a couple of years, I think, before I took them out and tore them apart and made a bag from them. So that was my one and only try to use red and yellow curtains. So that won't happen again, I'm sure. And I had this embroidery flower. Maybe put that on this one and the rose in the middle. Am I still in frame? So the collage paper I did yesterday will be used soon enough. I'm going to sew on them, and I think I'm going to eco dye on them before I use them. So during the weekend, I guess they will be done, so that we can work with them. So like this. I'm going to get the labels so we can put the last touch on these. They are sewn, and now it's time to do the final decoration with the labels and the rusty needles and maybe some gold. So let's see what we want. What labels that will go with which one. I think that needs a white one. A little bit big. Maybe something like that. Then we have some turquoise. turquoise ones, bluish. Too big. One more, two more. I think I will go with the long ones on that. And then this white one. That. Sorry. It was a bit smoky when I did these labels, so I think it was not so good for my throat, but we will survive. Two. Three. It was so big, so I'm taking a little piece off. changing that one to this one. And putting in the needle. Toning the white down a little bit. And the last one of the small. I think I need to cut this a little bit. Did get some rust on that, but I don't mind that. So, then a bit of gold, I think. too much, but you know, that little touch of feeling of antique and old. Yes, I think this was the right decision. Put a little bit of gold on them. One more, the last one, then we are done. So, what do we think? Is this kind of a good day's work? I hope that, and that the customer will be satisfied with his snippets. So I hope you liked this, and I will of course be back. But this was it for today. The cluster is done, and I think I'm going to go and play with some resin and fill these beautiful metal label frames with something beautiful. So thank you so much for watching. See you soon again, and until next time, bye bye from Sweden.